one of Lee Leopard's games next year in the Super League. Sylvester Nomo, the young prop forward. Dan Russell from the Brisbane Tigers. There's the winger Roderick Tai. Only made his debut against Tonga in the first game of this tournament, but 2 tries and 3 games since then, and he's really settled in to this competition. Last and certainly not least, Wellington Albert, the London Broncos prop forward. Well, these will be nervous moments for both sides. Introduced to royalty and ahead of a big game. Well, the rain, clearly no respecter of royalty. Liam Moore, the referee, being introduced now. Dorian Ferner and Jack Smith, the 2 touch judges down there as well. She's certainly enjoying speaking to players and officials, and now she'll move along the England line here. Sam Tompkins, the skipper. Tommy Makinson alongside him as well. You'll have to wait your turn. Can I introduce you, Mom? No doubt. There's Tommy Makinson. And along the line she goes, Jack Welsby. Well, I think they might be discussing tactics here as well. I'll get a little point towards the rain. I wonder if Sam's explaining how important George Williams' kicking game is going to be today. Young Herbie Farnworth, what a terrific tale he has got to tell as well. Moving to the other side of the world from his home in Blacko near Burnley as a teenager, all the way to Brisbane Broncos to make his name in the NRL. He's certainly done that. And here's another who took a similar journey, Tom Burgess, the South Sydney prop forward. What a day for those young ball boys as well. It's terrific. Oh, this is a proper meet and greet, isn't it? Elliot Whitehead, the next to shake hands, John Bateman. Matty Lees and George Williams, and Chris Hill's there as well. Starts today in the front row as Chris Hill. It's a formidable looking England pack today. Victor Radley, maybe just explaining why he's got an Australian accent that he's playing for England. It's all about my dad, he'll be telling her. Mike Cooper, next in the line. And Dom Young, who's been creating some headlines over this last few weeks or so. He's a cool customer. Cannon Watkins and Kai Pearce-Paul at the end, who's 18th man for England today. And huge reception as well for the Princess of Wales. As she exits for the stand, she will be sitting with a couple of the English women players who were triumphant in their game a short while ago, 54 points to 4 against Canada, that has booked their place in the semi-finals. They have the Papua New Guinean women to play next to decide who goes through as group leaders and play, you'd expect, either New Zealand or Australia. But right now, we stand for the national anthems.
Sing of our joy to be free, praising God and rejoicing to be Papua New Guinea. Shouts our name from the mountain to seas, Papua New Guinea. Let us raise our voices and proclaim. Good Lord above, for his kindness and wisdom and love, for this land of our fathers so free, Papua New Guinea. Shout again for the whole world to hear, Papua New Guinea. We are
wow. Sometimes you stand amidst the throng and your spine tingles, and that has just happened at the end of that national anthem. Belief in this English side is growing as the tournament goes on, and the noise inside the stadiums has been growing as well. And how wonderful to hear both anthems wonderfully respected. We're going to have a moment here to mark Movember Mental Fitness, the Mental Fitness charity. This is where everybody will be asked to make some noise. The message being, don't be silent, make a noise about how you feel.
Usually we mark tragedies like this with a moment of silence. But today, Movember are asking you to do the opposite by joining in a moment against silence. We want you to talk, clap, shout, cheer and bang your feet
Here we go.
as loud as you can to show support for our men. Your men. Are you ready?
message got through, didn't it? That is a noise. England back to where it all began. Very nearly the starting 13 that began the opening game against Samoa. The one exception, John Bateman, who was suspended for that game, is in for this. Mike Meekan dropping to the bench. Big bench as well, also includes Knowles, Lees and Cooper. So 4 forwards in there. So they're expecting a tough physical challenge here, England. And they put a lineup there in response and in anticipation of that. For Papua New Guinea, well, one change to their starting 13 from the side that faced Wales in their last group game. Sylvester Namo returns at prop. On the bench, Mackenzie Yeh also returns from suspension, and Doncaster halfback Watson Boas also on that bench as well today. Here's a referee, Liam Moore, video referee Adam G, Darian Ferner and Jack Smith, the 2 touch judges. And I think this is a stadium that is ready for this. Newcastle was noisy, Bolton was boisterous. But here in Wigan, it is wow. Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker of the House of Commons there, a big rugby league fan. And Claire Balding, of course, the president of the Rugby Football League. They swapped roles in January, those two. England together in their huddle. Papua New Guinea together in their huddle. World Cup, word perfect from England so far. Not a day to stumble today, because Papua New Guinea will pack a punch here. That's one thing you can absolutely count on. And he knows that, the England coach, Sean Wayne. He knows that this is possibly the toughest physical challenge his side face so far. The victors are in the semi-final at Arsenal Stadium next Saturday. Sam Tompkins will be hoping to captain his side to that occasion. But this is a big hurdle they have to clear here today.
Stay behind, boys.
They are 2 teams 3 steps away from rugby league heaven. England hoping to continue the climb, but Papua New Guinea looking to get into a semi-final for the first time in their history, with arguably the best side they have ever assembled. And England starting as they mean to go on with that big tough challenge with the very first tackle of the game. Kevin Brown, former England World Cup finalist. Brian Noble, former Great Britain coach. How do you see this going today?
Well, hold on to your hats and let the game begin, because we've got 2 very fiery, very physical teams. An in-form England and a very, very direct Papua New Guinea. You won't see any mistakes, hopefully, in the start of this game. The weather may play its part, but I just think it's all about probably the start in this next 20 minutes, Kev.
Yeah, I think it's about the start, and we've shown that the aggression, you know, it's not just going to come from Papua New Guinea. Mickey McLaurin just flying off his line there, as he is doing again on the kicker. But I think the kicking game is crucial today. It's very greasy down there. I think the rain's held up a little bit, but where we're picking the ball up and where we leave the ball is going to be vital today.
Dom Young, well, the platform has been laid in terms of try scoring. Josh Adokar with 5 last night has taken his tournament record to 11. Dom Young currently on 8. I'm sure he's not thinking about those records at the moment, but it might come into sharp focus as the game goes on, we'll see. But at the moment, it's just about getting on top of the opponents. Here's Whitehead. McElaurum in at dummy half. Hill is pawing the ground. He wants to go, and he's going to have a go. A little bit of footwork to try and burst through. But 3 Papua New Guineans hanging on.
Well, he's been brilliant in this competition with his goal forward, Chris Hill, and it'll be vitally crucial against this Papua New Guinean side. See Tom Burgess as well, doing what he's done well the whole of the tournament. I think if England have an advantage, it's maybe around smarts.
Oh, there's Williams with a cute little kick, and Makinson with the take. The ball's gone to ground. McElaurin picks it up. Can't advance possession. Whoa. They were close.
They were close, and that's what we were saying about the kicking game. The kicking there was a competition. Tommy Makinson nips in and gets the ball, and it's a great offload. And Mickey McLaurin just can't get the ball down, but they're leaving it in a real tough area for Papua New Guinea to come out, and they're back in the defence again. But just one more thing, it looks like a fantastic bit of coaching by Sean Wayne. In the wet, you know, 4 forwards on the bench, they're loaded so they can empty the tank, so to speak, these prop forwards for England, and get some reinforcements on when they're tired.
And they do have a bit of swap and change ability in the backs, don't they? With Wellesby being able to cover so many positions, and Tompkins can move about. We've seen Makinson playing at full-back, and Victor Radley pops into 9 as well if needed.
Well, Bateman's also played in the centre, so
yeah,
multi-talented if you are, multi-skilled to play different positions. But I think it'll be those subtle skills from England. They're a highly skilled team, and I think they'll try to exploit some of the weaknesses they may find are on the inside of Papua New Guinea's defence, in and around the ruck where we see now.
Well, it's the last play again, and Lachlan Lamb will put that kick downfield. The Lee Leopards halfback, formerly with the Roosters. His dad, Adrian, PNG superstar. He's on the coaching staff at Australia at the moment, but Dom Young is making good tracks, and look where England start their set here.
Yeah, and it's a combination of great defence and then really, really good kick pressure from the forwards for England. At the minute, they're dominating the middle of the field, and that's giving chances. At the end of this set, we'll have another competitive kick at the very least.
Burgess striding through. Big meters made. Jacob Aylick just about hangs on. It's back with McAlorum, and left they search here. Whitehead stepping inside, couple of tackles to go here from England's point of view. Williams again shuffles it on to Radley, and off it goes to Wellesby, and Wellesby tries to shake them off. Papua New Guinea though desperately defending. 1 play to go in this set. McAlorum again, Radley's pawing the ground, but it goes right to Tompkins, whose kick, and it's a knock-on. It's a knock-on. Well, that's the way to kick on a day like today, isn't it?
Well, it's greasy. Papua New Guinea on Monday evening played in similar circumstances with a really wet field at Doncaster. But Holland doesn't pick the ball up there in relation to picking it up cleanly. And I just want a snapshot again as remind our viewers, as England go forward, they really try to exploit some of the inside shoulders on the inside near the ruck, and he's proven dividends so far.
I think there was an opportunity there in that previous set. I think John Bateman just missed his assignment off Jack Wellesby. Well, the shape around Victor Radley already opening some space up out wide.
Well, head and feed, so another set to attack this Papua New Guinean line. Just the start that England would have wanted. Papua New Guinea are being tested here. They do not lack courage or pedigree when it comes to defending their line at Papua New Guinea, but they are being tested. And here's Herbie forward with a shuffle of the hips and very nearly getting there. McAlorum delivering back again. Burgess with the burst, and there's 4 or 5. Has he got it down? Tom Burgess. Yes, he has. England are off to a flyer. Using the muscular route. Tom Burgess with the try. England with the early score.
Well, Farmer sets this up when he comes off his left foot and his left foot and his left foot and causes some doubt in the Papua New Guinea defence, but they should handle. This is a totally different physical challenge for the New Guineans. They're going to have to really aim up in and around the middle on people like Tom Burgess.
Well, since he started this game, I think that's his 3rd or 4th carry, and every time he's beat the first defender. We saw against Greece, if he gets a one-on-one, he has got a bit of body swerve as well, and he just picks someone out. He picks him out, rolls off his hip and gets the ball down. You can't underestimate how big Tom is. He's 125 kilos. And the Papua New Guineans need to get off the line there if they're going to stop such a big man. But I agree with you, Brian, what you're saying about the inside shoulders of Herbie Farnworth. He caused a lot of the damage. And at the minute, we're just blowing holes through the middle of the field.
So the conversion attempt here from Tommy Makinson. Should be. And is another 2. And England lead by 6 points to 0. The perfect start from an English point of view.
That's what we spoke about at the start before the game, Nobby. We said how crucial it was that, you know, this vociferous crowd here today, you know, get something to cheer about, and that's what they've done, England. It's a great start.
Yeah, super start. A different class of player that the Papua New Guineans are playing against, that are well coached and understand how they can, with some of the subtleties in the game as well as the size, they can go forward.
Tom Burgess, one of those who is a veteran of that 2017 World Cup final when England lost in such dramatic circumstances against Australia. Low-scoring game, but what a match that was.
What a hit that was.
Really hoping to turn things around this time. Here's McIlroy out of dummy half again. Bateman with the offload. McIlroy looks to keep it going. England using their hands on a wet day. Hill with the drive. McIlroy again. Radley now into the line. Williams and Tompkins comes chiming in, and here's Makinson on this left-hand side. Runs away from Labour. Looking for the middle. And a push as well. Really good effort. Meters after contact. Super stuff from Makinson. McIlroy to Radley to Bateman. It's a familiar path he treads, going from right to left, from wide to centre. Michael McIlroy. Oh, it's another 6 here. Another set of 6. You might just have picked the hooter up in the background. It's about 5 yards to the left of my ear. Tells you that England have got a reset, so another set of 6. Williams stepping and still getting absolutely smashed by Reece Martin. Now it comes to Tompkins. Tompkins slides it through. Makinson. What a start for England this is. It's a dream of a start. 8 minutes played and already the second try.
Well, for our viewers at home, there's another example here of how England are exploiting in and around the middle of Papua New Guinea. They may have the odd success, Papua New Guinea, there's how many people that are being left on the floor trying to make those efforts. We saw Bateman come back against the grain, which opened up the opportunity for the kick play for Sam Tompkins on this left side.
I just feel the variation of attack at the minute. We've got movement. If you just watch, Sam Tompkins dummies with his eyes and his head, and that brings the edge, the right edge of this Papua New Guinea side up. You see it on the replay now, and they're just in front of the ball, and that opens the space. But the execution of the kick, the weight of the kick, and Tommy Makinson getting down and scoring the try, that's a fantastic bit of play. And the way England are just putting it all together at the minute, Victor Radley, even better than he has been in the previous few games.
Highly skilled, highly efficient rugby league football being shown by England in their execution. And this type of football, trapdoor football, however you want to call it, if you're going out today, it's probably because you haven't executed some of the plans being given.
I guess the challenge from England now is to keep that foot on the accelerator. You know, big fat start against France, and maybe just lost a bit of focus. Big fat start here against Papua New Guinea. They've got to keep going, haven't they?
They have. This is a great start. I just think aggressive defence has given them opportunities with the ball. We saw Tom Burgess get bent back by, you know, the Papua New Guineans off the kick-off, but he left 2 of them on the floor, and that made the set speed up, and then John Bateman got the set restart. It's fantastic opening game, opening 10 minutes in this game from England.
So Makinson settles again, and the kick is going to be left this time. Left of the stick, so it remains at 10 points to 0. I hope Her Royal Highness is enjoying this. And if anyone knows his way round Wigan on a wet Saturday afternoon, it's Sam Tompkins, isn't it? That's a perfect kick for Makinson to score.
That's a highly skilled piece of play from Sam Tompkins. He understands that the Cummels are probably a little bit further up in that line than they wanted to be, so he thread the needle. He pushed the ball through for our viewers at home. That takes a lot of skill.
And bravery, because it was on tackle 3 as well. So if it doesn't come off, you can look a little bit silly, but execution and vision there by the English captain was fantastic.
Oh, Burgess again. How many metres is he making today?
A lot.
Radley. Bouncing into the shoulder of Reece Martin. McIlroy. Inside for Hill. These big forwards are ploughing a furrow down the middle of this Wigan pitch. McIlroy to Tompkins, and now they go a little wider. Well, how many is this? 4 tackles, starting from deep. They're going to finish at the other end. Radley. Williams again with a little kick, but that's less measured, that's not as good. And Roderick Tai, the Papua New Guinean Hunters winger, catches, but what a response from England's defenders. If we make a mistake, then they have to make amends, and that's exactly what they've done.
And they say your kick is only as good as the chase, and the kick was pretty poor, but then just the group of players hold him up, making some Farnworth and Whitehead, and buddle him over into touch and continue this momentum. It's a great start from England.
That's exactly what Cummels didn't want. They catch the ball in reasonable field position in relation to how they've had the ball, and then he gets barreled onto the sidelines because of a lack of support probably from his co-defenders to try and negate the tackle, but perfectly legal from the England players there, 3 in the tackle, drag him out the sideline.
So McAlorum with the tap restart and Burgess again. How many metres is he going to make this time? He's just pushing him away. He's like the bully in the playground at the moment, isn't he? Nobody can hold him. Williams with a short pass this time to Whitehead. Whitehead with the offload. Tompkins skips over a couple of prone bodies and delivers on to Farnworth, and Farnworth's pushing, and it's taking some determination from those Kumuls defenders to keep him at bay. McAlorum and now Williams. And here comes Hill. Right in front of those sticks again. McAlorum. Williams across the line. Tompkins. Wellesby to Watkins, but numbering up Papua New Guinea on that right-hand side. So England search back towards the middle. Bateman again. Bateman with a push, but not by far. Last play. What do they conjure here? Look for the boot of Williams or Tompkins. It's going to be back to Williams. Right-footed this time into that in-goal area. Oh, and just about dealt with by Nenny MacDonald. Another dropout. Should be another wave of pressure here from England.
Just look at that Nenny MacDonald, wasn't he? He nearly bashed it into the bat of Williams. But he got enough on it to... It's a perfect start in many respects for England. They've had all the pressure, all the ball, carrying metres in the middle, exploiting some deficiencies on the inside of the Papua New Guinea defence, and Coach Wayne will be thrilled.
Laybutt's dropout is into the hands straight away of Wellesby, and immediately Burgess is having a fun day today. He's loving this today. He's loving this today.
Move off the ball!
Well, is he the runaway truck?
Only one tackle down, there's 5 more to come, and Radley is the next one. Taking England back within 10 metres of where they want to be. 2 tries already. McAlorum to Williams. Williams, well, maybe an ill-advised pass with the defence coming out quickly.
The kicks on every time behind them. They were aggressive again. The execution that time was just a little bit off.
Hill trying to do what Burgess has been doing. Laying a platform with a big solid surge. Get the bodies out of the way. Here's Williams again, and spinning it to Farnworth, who bounces off a couple. Last play coming up for England. Williams, that short kicking game. In fact, it's a chip this time. It's knocked backwards to Radley, and out it goes to Watkins. And here's Dom Young. When England is scoring, you can't keep him away from the headlines. That's his 9th of the tournament. A royal smile for rugby league royalty. England have a 3rd, and Papua New Guinea simply don't have a response.
Well, it's another quality kick from Williams that puts pressure on the Papua New Guinea defence. I think it's Labour that tries to get up to defuse this little short chip kick. It's perfect. Knocked back. Sam Tompkins, I think it is, knocks it back, and then Callum Watkins just has to feed a very, very pleased Dom Young.
It's a masterclass at the minute. I think the kicking game probably had 6 or 7 kicks, and there's been 1 off target, but even then they threw him into touch. I just think the variation of the kicking game, they're putting him on the floor, and it's Lachlan Lamb who's just posted on his own. The number 7 there, he can't get up, and Sam Tompkins just out-competes him, just gets up, knock the ball back. He'll be delighted. Continues his magnificent scoring record in this competition. Dom Young.
9 in 4 now. 9 in 4 England appearances. You can add the PNG game, the warm-up game. That's 11 in 5.
You said he won't be looking at the try-scoring record, but
he will now.
Every winger will be looking at that, including Dom Young, and he'll be chasing down the Fox, Josh Adokar, for sure.
Chatting to Josh Adokar after the game last night, he said he was well aware of what the record is, and Valentine Holmes on that field last night has scored 12 in a World Cup. Nobody's scored more than that ever in a World Cup tournament. Well, Adokar's got 11 now, and Dom Young has got 9 now, so they're all closing in.
I think they'll both break it.
They might be a match in a final, who knows? A lot of rugby league to be played before we get the final combination. Makinson's kick from the touchline, it drifts through the raindrops and just goes wide. 14 points to 0. Dom Young the latest to score.
Well, the Kumuls haven't had the ball. I can't remember a set, but probably one set in their own half when England carted it back further than they'd had it before. So that's a great finish from Dom Young, by the way.
They just can't control the big men. Burgess and Hill at the minute, they're just dominating this game. They're providing such a platform. And then I think the balance throughout the side, Nobby, I think they're using everyone to contribute rather than just using simple areas. And in the wet, you know, I think Sean Wayne's got him aggressive in defence, but he's got him moving the ball. It's fantastic play.
Well, this man off the back fence is doing that. And another example of the Cobbles having to commit 4 players.
Well, we've only played 17 minutes, but look at that for a stat. England 354 metres game, Papua New Guinea 49.
Release now.
Tells you about the majority possession that England have had so far. Relentless at the moment. There's Whitehead.
The debate all week, Dave, has been about how the New Guineans might offer England a physical
here we go
challenge.
again. Watkins with a cut back on the inside. Tompkins had a shadow right behind him, so he's never going to be able to explode there. Nixon put got his big arms around him.
Wellington, you're off.
Williams. Burgess again.
Listen. 5.
He's swallowed up the metres so far. 78 metres Burgess has already smashed his way downfield in. Williams with the kick, and the challenge from Makinson is superb, and he's over to score. Boy, did he deserve that one. Tommy Makinson with a prodigious leap and the sheer determination to turn it into something special. England try number 4.
Well, once it that is a special set. That's from a kick-off. That's from a Cummels Papua New Guinea kick-off, and it starts with Burgess. But then we see the excellence of the kick again, and great catch. Absolutely superb from Makinson, and he's still got a lot to do. He wriggles and he rises and he climbs and he out jumps Roderick Ty, and then understands he's near the line and gets it over. And that's for our viewers at home, that set has gone 100 metres with a brilliant kick on the end of it from George Williams, and Makinson does the rest for him.
Well, it's a masterclass at the minute. They're going through the middle with power. Then they moved it to Callum Watkins on the right edge, and it was only a fantastic tackle by Justin Olam to stop him. And then they could keep the composure. The game management by George Williams. He puts a competitive kick up. And when you've got wingers like Young and Makinson, you come down with points.
Well, just put this into context. You know, the opening game against Samoa, 60 points to 6. Nobody expected that. This, at the moment, nobody expected this. This was supposed to be a real challenge for England. Here's Makinson with a kick. Oh, he's nailed that. 2 out of 4. 20 points to 0. 20 points to 0 with 19 minutes played. You show me somebody who predicted this scoreline before kickoff, and I'll show you a liar. Nobody expected
That's
this.
very confrontational from Dave Woods. Showing him a liar. We'll drag him publicly. Flog him, Dave, if they disagree with you. Yeah, we're all surprised, probably about not the quality of what England, but the fact that they're actually producing the quality to the game plan. They're going forward at the middle with size, speed, footwork. The Cummels can't hang on to them, and when they go to the fringes, they're doing the right, making the right assessments as well.
Yeah, and the stats back it up. They've missed no tackles, they've dropped no ball, and when you've got all the ball and you're actually playing, in the wet to score 20 points in 20 minutes is some feat.
Hold on, mate. Hold! Hold! Oh, one time that 10, boys.
So, interchange already. Burgess has gone off, Cooper's come on. I suspect they probably had to drag Tom Burgess off, didn't they?
Well, then it took 4 of them.
Yeah.
Move now!
And the cart horse to pull him across.
Look at that. Papua New Guinea have made 84 tackles to England's 33 so far. And here's Bateman. Bateman now going through. Sam Tompkins. Williams on his left. Watkins on his right. Watkins finds Williams. Williams slants over. Scores the try. Oh, this is unbelievable.
Well, take a breath.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Take a breath. Brilliant skill. John Bateman doing what he loves to do, but steaming up the middle with 4 or 5 white jumpers around him. He had his choice to pick. Let us have on the back of all the things we've been saying. For our viewers at home, this isn't so much about what the Cummels are doing. It's all about what England are doing and how they're executing everything they do.
And this is a statement. It's almost like a party now. The way they're playing and everything's sticking. It starts with Victor Radley again. He ties up the defence, and then Jack Wellesby pulls them wide, and John Bateman finds that space up the middle of the field. But then he's got Williams and Callum Watkins it is with a fantastic offload. And it's the weight that propels him over the line. But that's some try. Put through hands, and make no mistake, that's not just been made up, that's a tactical game plan. Like you said, Nobby, they're attacking the middle and they're attacking it through shape.
And you have to say the desperation of the Papua New Guinean defence there. You know, everyone who got the ball there had a defender immediately on them. So there's not a lack of heart here from PNG.
Absolutely not. They'll tick that effort box. It's a prerequisite to play for the Cummels. You tick the effort box first and foremost. They're just being blown away with superb skill.
Simple one for Makinson. 26 points to nil. If Her Royal Highness is watching, and she is watching on, I hope somebody tells her it's not always like this when England play, you know. You're watching something very special with this particular iteration of an England Rugby League side.
Well, it's an assist from the weather and the conditions, but he won't mind one bit, George Williams. He was thinking, I'll slide 20 metres, I'm going to slamming that ball down.
By the way, a long time back, in this only their 4th game in this World Cup, England passed the 200 points for the tournament. It's 50 points a game they're averaging and more. It could be past 300 the way it's going at the moment by the end of today. Hill shuffling left, Whitehead takes it on. Not used to this, England, having to do some hard work inside their own half. And Farnworth with a step, oh, beautiful from Farnworth. Wellesby was just ahead of him, so the pass couldn't go his way, instead it goes to Hill. Super step from Herbie Farnworth. Radley throws a huge pass to Young. Young takes on his man, back on the inside, and Watkins smiling again. England are laughing out loud at the moment.
When you talk about momentum, you don't normally see it like this. This is like a car running down the hill, and it's unstoppable. The way you said that they're getting stuck in their own half, then Herbie Farnworth gets the ball and just beats his centre one-on-one. Chris Hill's backing up, and then they just get the ball to Radley. He's creating so much. It's a bounce pass that he throws to the right-hand side. But we have threat all over the field. We come down the left, then we get the ball and we sum it up and go down the right, and Dom Young just palms his opposite off and finds Callum Watkins with a great offload.
Well, it's great vision as well from Victor Radley. He's seeing the numbers, he gets the ball to Young. He palms 2 people off, as you said, Kevin. It's an easier job for Callum Watkins, but again, it happened on the other side of the field where there wasn't an opportunity. Farnworth made one, went back on the inside, disrupted the defensive line of the Cummels, and they're on the front foot there. Radley ran a full 15-20 metres before he fired the ball out.
I'm just looking at the body language now of the Cummels. They're behind the sticks, they're all bent over. I think they're in shock. I think, you know, England are probably shocked themselves how good they've been. I think the Cummels are in shock, but it's 30-0. They blinked 24 minutes in, it's 30-0.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. We've had some runaway wins in this World Cup, more often than not expectedly so, but this is just another level. England sparkling. I think you can already start booking your transport down to Arsenal Stadium next Saturday for the semi-final. Makinson with a kick, and yes, just it creeps over the crossbar. 32 points to nil.
Well, it starts again for the Cummels, but they can't handle the kick-off. We've just seen them going, they're marching down the field at will of England, and that's a combination of brilliant footwork and size in the middle, and then great decision-making on the fringes, as well as.
Completely agree, Nobby. I think, you know, you've had Tom Burgess taken off the field, Mike Cooper's come on, and it's just been copy and paste. He's carried the ball, put that footwork on and gone straight through. So yeah, defensively the Cummels just need to pick it up a little bit and get themselves back in this game.
Well, a friend of mine has just messaged, and there was a Papua New Guinean player, and you were telling us earlier, Kev, weren't you, the Papua New Guinean player whose nickname was Motorway because he had 2 hard shoulders. Yeah. And a friend of mine has just texted saying more like Smart Motorway.
Well, they've closed
no hard shoulders.
They've closed the motorway and gone on the air roads, and it ain't working.
Here's Hill.
Third, move off the ball.
Hill up to his feet. Tompkins. Williams wants a go, has a go. Reece Martin and Kyle Labert dragging him down. Farnworth to Tompkins to Radley. Radley pushing in. Last play. And England's still 30 metres away. It's a disappointing end to the set. Tompkins. Oh, it's too far. That's not a... Oh, hang on. The referee's blown early. That could be a try. No. Well, he's given that he's caught that. He's given that he's caught. He was actually blowing his whistle before he caught it.
I think
this has got to be a captain's challenge. Yeah. Has to be a captain's challenge. This could be an England try.
That's a try for
yes,
me.
Mate.
Let's have a listen to the video referee.
Yes, mate. Okay. Video ref to director. We have a captain's challenge from the English team. I need to go back to the kick, please, to check everyone's onside. Just freeze it on the boot, please. So just freeze here. Okay, all kick chase there are onside. Play through, please. Contact's clear there. Okay, keep going. All right, can I get a close-up now? Yeah, close-up of the potential catch and then grounding. So Alex Johnson fails to defuse the bomb. It is play on at this point, and the ball is then grounded by the England team. Thank you. I've viewed all available angles to make my decision.
Cheers, mate.
Well, they come in all shapes and sizes to England tries. And they'll take them, even if they're scruffy ones. But well done for Tommy Makinson for keeping sharp there and touching that one down.
Well done, Sam Tompkins. We got straight to the captain's challenge. The chase from Jack Wellsbury was awesome on the back of nearly just being there, and he got there. Whacked Johnson, the fullback, who cleanly just dropped it. And Tommy Makinson, in many respects, just has the easy job.
Well, that was a poor kick. That's probably the first poor kick of the game. But what Jack Wellsbury does, he's a very, very good player, but how hard he competes there. He comes in the eye line of Alex Johnson, who's a terrific player in the NRL, and he just fumbles it. And fair play to Tommy Makinson. You know, he does what good wingers do. He finishes it. He's Johnny on the spot and he gets there. But when things are going well for you, Nobby, they really go well for you.
Well, Alex Johnson had a choice to make earlier in his career. He could have been a top-level cricketer. And he chose rugby league. And maybe that's why. He couldn't catch him on the boundary.
Well, they wouldn't have put him in the gully, would they, with that one? I just think
good with the bat.
It's just one of those situations where nothing's going right for the Cummels.
But like you say, you know, he's a superstar player in the NRL, isn't he? Alex Johnson with Souths. And not relevant to that particular moment, but a prolific try scorer, you know.
But the pressure that England are just putting them under constantly, with and without the ball, there's just no let-up. As a coach now, Nobby, what's the message? Is it just same again, or are you trying to change things? What are you sending on now?
You want that element of ruthlessness from the England team, but maybe with the challenges to come, semi-final to come. You want them to keep the same systems because they're playing the perfect game plan, dominate in the middle, which is giving the opportunity to play on the fringes. The temptation is to do things that you might not do in a big game, or you might want to experiment. I think Sean Wynn would not want experimentation, but because what they're doing now is working every time.
Well, that's the last thing they needed.
Well,
Reece Martin's kicked it straight out of play. Penalty for England back on the halfway line.
Well, the Cummels knocked the dustbin over on the last play. They've just knocked another one over, and the rubbish has gone all over the place. They're in shock, I think. They're in a little bit of free fall, and I don't know who can put their finger in the pie to stop that free fall.
It's making Greece look good, this, isn't it? Last week we were looking up record scores this time last week. Didn't think we'd be doing it again today. It's stretched away.
Back up, boys.
Jimmy not quite able to get there, so here come England again. The inevitability. Matty Lees.
One. Move.
Loving being involved in this World Cup. Back it goes to Williams. Now Tompkins. Tompkins with a step back on the inside, but Kyle Labert grabs a hold and waits for reinforcements. Williams. This time it's Morgan Knowles. Enjoy some game time here. Morgan Knowles, I think, has Radley gone off, just looking around?
He has.
Wellesby running back towards the middle. Oh, and Wang Wellesby knocked on there, but the referee says play on. Tompkins. Bateman trying to push. Papua New Guinea's response in defence is good enough at the moment. McLaurin. Wellesby. High for Young to chase. I think Young knocked it on. Yes, he did. So for the first time today, not quite perfect from England's attack.
Well, we're 30 minutes in, and that's the one thing that hasn't come off for them. It hasn't come off for them.
They get some ball now, Papua New Guinea. They're still under 50 metres total gained in a half of football. It's unheard of.
Look at that total metre. Look at that. Papua New Guinea have made only 49 metres in 30 minutes. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that on a rugby league field before.
No, not from a quality side, and it just takes your halfbacks completely out of the game. Lachlan Lamb and the halfback partner there, at the minute they're just not involved because the domination of the middle of the field. What a replacement to bring on, and Morgan Knowles, and he just keeps that intensity going that Victor Radley started off.
Here's Martin. Papua New Guinea just trying to burst the prison gates here.
Release him.
They need the freedom of a play the ball in their opponent's half. But at the moment they are struggling. Mackenzie Yeh on from the bench. And a week off last week because of suspension, but here comes it's a fumbled attempted offload. Well, they're still playing around here, and now the referee says knock on.
Knock on, no advantage.
Well, it's difficult to criticise the Cumulls for chancing their arm. There's nothing else. I think that's their first play the ball in the opposition half.
And that's the problem, the frustration and the shock. It just makes you do different things. And Justin Olam is one of the best centres in the world. Just needs to go down with the ball here. Just rolls the dice, and unfortunately it just falls in England's favour that time for Justin.
8 minutes of the half remaining. You have to say 42 minutes of Papua New Guinea's World Cup remaining, and they know that.
Well, all of a sudden,
Watkins has lost it now.
There's an error.
So knock on upon. Take the first. So Papua New Guinea get the ball back here, all things being equal.
Yep, it's the first goal with the ball in England's half.
It's Olam who makes up for that error. Gets his shoulder in. Great battle going on over there. Callum Watkins and Justin Olam, two world-class centres.
You wouldn't be shocked if England win one against the head here. I think that last happened in 1973 when Bright Noble was playing.
Please.
At the end of his career.
Yeah, towards the end of his career. And it was him that lost it. Anyway, Papua New Guinea do get possession. Labert. They're looking to stretch things with Roderick Tai. But for the first time, we peer down to the right-hand side of the pitch and talk about Papua New Guinea in possession. Martin.
Come on, Dan, get back.
Ipape, such a shame we've not seen him at his sparkling best here today, Edwin Ipape, but on the back of rubbish, he's not going to be able to do much, is he? So
the line speed is just insanely fast.
Labert
flying up.
Well, they're trying to just prise things open on that left-hand side, but well, England will welcome this. A challenge for their defence, because they've not had many. Not had many. First play the ball in the opposition 22. Reece Martin with the kick towards the corner. Roderick Tai picks it up, offloads it. England's defence recovers. PNG have got one more play here. Labert, look, that's really quick there, out of defensive line and just patted behind the dead ball line.
That's Papua New Guinea's best set. It was a great kick. But it's great defence by England, great scramble, but the line speed at the minute, because they've had so much ball afresh, and Mickey McLaurin's leading the way in that aspect. He's flying off his line and putting the Papua New Guinea players under so much pressure.
Well, him and Morgan Knowles are have an element around here. We see the charge down on Labour. He does well to get the kick out. Bateman has to do nothing else but bat the ball dead. With the line speed, you're right, Kev. Morgan Knowles, Michael McLaurin is just spooking there. Oh! That head out.
Matty Lees hit him with everything. And he stopped him, but he gets up and plays.
Oh, he's in again.
Here we go again. Matty Lees making up for lost international time. He should have been on the Great Britain tour, but he had a dreadful illness injury, didn't he, before that tour. Fully recovered now. Simbikin.
Get back, Sam, Mickey. Hold.
Ipape. Looking right. Leibut trying to create something. He's a fancy halfback, is Kyle Leibut. He's very creative. It's just... Oh, and that's again untidy. And there's bodies flying all over the place, and it's a penalty for Papua New Guinea.
There's a penalty at the ruck. For our viewers at home, you're not allowed to stretch around and knock the ball down or knock an arm, and it was offside. I'm joking again that Cooper was offside there, and the referee has given a penalty to Papua New Guinea.
4.5 minutes.
It's just another moment of pressure, isn't it? This is the first time Sean Wayne's side's been under any pressure.
Mackenzie A with the initial thrust. Here's Ipape at a dummy half, and they've left the ball behind. England get it back.
So impressive. Morgan Knowles again just flying off his line and putting him under pressure in the wet especially. It just cuts that time down that you have to adjust your hands. See him, he sprints off his line, checks the lead runner and then gets the next player. That's fantastic defence, and I think you can really see now Sean Wayne's influence in this international side.
4 minutes of the half remaining. There's a buzz around the DW Stadium. It's been electric right from the time the two teams came out. Farnworth side against the Papua New Guinea defensive line. Differential penalty. Tompkins finds touch. England quick for the restart. Sean Wayne going down, has to be careful on those slippy steps, not long back from a knee operation, Sean, so they're trying too hard there, aren't they?
Maybe that's an example of what I was trying to say with what Sean Wayne wouldn't want. Yes, play football. Yes, keep this line speed that we're seeing from this England team, and this aggression and this vicious at times go forward from the team in white. But what he doesn't want them to do is get a little bit loose around the ball and carrying the ball, Kev.
Yeah, because I think as we progress, clearly going to win this game. As we progress, we've not had a tight game, and when you do go through the competition, you need to be clinical. You can't just expect to blow sides away. You need to have your execution and your clinical nature in your attack.
Leibut trying to make things happen. Big defensive hit coming in from England again, though. Here's Ty. Leibut switching it along the line. Ipape. Lachlan Lamb's involved as well. They've got a bit of width over there. Can they take advantage of that? No, they can't. They've run out of tackles. So England get the ball back on the handover.
Well, it could be that time where we start hauling a few yellow flags up and get rid of the red flags, put some yellow ones, nearly green ones, about how good this England team actually are.
What's all this about flags, Brian? You've lost me with the flags.
Well, the red flag. Well, the English as fans and as spectators as we all are, and pundits, we don't like to say good things about our teams sometimes, but the kind of show they've put on right throughout this World Cup has led me to believe that, you know, they're a really, really good team.
They are. I think it's time everyone gets excited, because if we play like this, regardless of opposition, we'll compete, and we're more than capable of winning this World Cup. It's great to see, and there's threats all over the field. You can't just say you shut one person down. Got to be better than that, though. But you can't just shut one person down. I think the balance of the side is the most impressive. You know, attack and defence. We've got, you know, superstars all over the field.
Lamb. Papua New Guinea looking to burst here, looking to get a bit of self-confidence back again. They're enjoying a bit more possession now. Those meters are not actually levelling up, but at least they're putting a few meters on the board now. Over 200 meters finally for Papua New Guinea in this game. Laybutt will put the kick behind. Makinson sensed that was coming. There's bodies flying all over the place in the background. Makinson's picked up. Oh, if he kept his feet there, because
still a chance.
Two defenders ahead of him were actually lying on the floor, having slipped over, and then because he ran behind his own man, he's given himself up so as not to give away the penalty for obstruction. This will be the last set in the half, you'd think. Farnworth.
2. Move! Back up, mate. Hold now. Hold! Come on.
McIlorum.
Forward, Herbie.
Bateman.
3. Move off the ball!
Solid hits.
Hold.
Regardless of score, Dave, I think there's going to be a few bruises tomorrow for both sets of players.
Tompkins with a kick downfield, Johnston with a catch, and he might just be able to get up and play the ball. No, he won't. No, he won't. Well, what about that? What about that for a half of rugby league from England? On the day they were expecting their toughest challenge so far, they have simply brushed it aside. Supremacy complete. 7 tries scored, more promised, near perfection. Sean Wayne, I'm sure, will be telling them not quite perfection. There are things to work on, but that's as good as it gets for an opening 40 minutes of rugby league.
Brilliant from England, a well executed, physical, athletic plan with a brilliant kicking game. And the Cummels, for me, have got an element of pride to try and regain in the second half.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go down to Damien Johnson. The half-time score 38-0. England leading. And down on the touchline, Damien Johnson is talking to Tommy Makinson.
Who's been among the tries in this first half, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't get any more dominant than that. England were great. PNG saving their worst for last. In this incident here, what was the referee doing?
It's a good question, Braith. he was just too eager, wasn't he, with the whistle in his mouth. He'd blown the 7-tackle restart before Johnson had even caught the ball. This was bizarre scenes here. Yeah. Look at this. Jack Welsby appeals. He should turn around and actually get the try, but Makinson gets the hat-trick. If you watch Welsby here, he hears that that's a knock-on. He's blowing up at the referee. If he turns around, he gets the try, but Makinson gets his hat-trick.
Yeah, he's pulled the trigger early there, Mick.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. A bit of a shocker there. Unusual circumstances, but it's been all one-way traffic, hasn't it? A professional opening 40 minutes from the host nation, England. Outstanding.
Yeah, they sure were. England outstanding in that first half. Dominant display over Papua New Guinea. We'll have all the first half reaction next. It's England up against PNG. Welcome back. It's the Rugby League World Cup here, live and exclusive on Fox League. And England continue to impress, Jimmy, and your team is on fire.
Yeah, they sure are, and it's all started with defensive domination, really limiting the Cummels yardage. They came to play defensively, England, and then it was Tom Burgess after a cracking start, straight and direct. Tommy Makinson with the score after a late 6 again. And here we are, Dominic Young, the try-scoring freak that he is. He's got plenty in this World Cup, and he continues that rich vein of try-scoring form.
Yeah, coming off the back of some tremendous defensive performances, you're right. I thought Tom Burgess physically through the middle with Hill were outstanding. Victor Radley, I thought, had a tremendous start to the game. So too this man, John Bateman, he's wreaked havoc at different times, changing angles in the slippery conditions. In Wigan, he's caused a number of problems for them. I thought George Williams' kicking game at different times has been a real headache for the Papua New Guinea side, who just simply didn't turn up.
Yeah,
right? They weren't there. England got a smell of that early and they've dominated. This was a great try. Just getting rid of Nutlik there with his power. Dominic Young, what a tournament he's having, set up Callum Watkins. And at that stage, you know, they were 26-0 after 20-odd minutes, and the onslaught just continued.
Yeah, well, the Cummels just couldn't get the ball, could they? And this is the try we spoke about before the half-time break. The referee having a bit of a boo-boo there, and Tommy Makinson playing to the whistle. Thankfully, we have the captain's challenge, so embarrassment was avoided by the match official.
Yeah, 38 points to 0, controlled possession, field position. It has been all class from England throughout this tournament. Again, continuing to impress. We did mention PNG were terrible. They've saved their worst for last, but still, the quality of England, they really put their hand up in this World Cup, and they're one of the favourites now. Well, they always have been, but they're going great guns.
For the Cummels, though, your sets have to put, you concede points. You want to make a mark defensively, and for me, I can't understand why they keep kicking to Tom Burgess. Yeah. Yes, he's been great, but he's been given the opportunity to. For a guy like that, you don't kick off to him when he's having the runs like he is.
Yeah, you're right. I think the whole tournament, they've been really professional, and I said that, you know, tonight in the pre-game show that I feel like they've been the best team. They seem to have great cohesion, and from the opening game against Samoa, everything seemed to click for them. Australia and New Zealand, well, they've mixed their sides up at different times and had a number of different combinations, but it's the England side at the moment that has the most rhythm. Defensively, they're moving forward. They've got a fast-moving defensive line that's really frustrated the Cummels tonight, but their attack, their halves pairing of Wellesby and Williams, been outstanding again.
Tom Burgess has been their leader in the forward pack, no doubt, and he was outstanding in the first 20 minutes of the game. Makinson, what a tournament he's had, scored a couple of tries. He's a star.
Yeah, he sure is. He's so competitive as well. We see this. He's always looking for chinks in the armour of the defence. He's always looking for someone just clocking off. We see him compete on kicks every single time, and boy, he can finish. That is some pickup so close to the line there, and he gets his hat-trick today. He's a try-scoring freak as well on this wing. Look at this, how he just competes, and he flicks this ball. There's another time he gets the try there, another one he flicked the ball back, and unfortunately, Mickey McLaurin just didn't have the legs to get over, but he's such a quality player. But England just dominating all over the park. We could speak about all 13 players that began that game and a couple that came off the bench as well.
Great targets, haven't they, out on the edges? Like Dominic Young has been a real target for them with a number of kicks, but Roderick Ty has been under enormous pressure from Makinson. He's been terrific in the air. Like the conditions are slippery there, but his ability to get up above Roderick Ty and compete for the footy and come down with it has been a real feature in the first half.
Yeah, Papua New Guinea, their contact just wasn't good enough in that first half. England sensational. We'll have the second half of this game. England taking on PNG after the break. Welcome back to the Rugby League World Cup, and it's the England team continuing to shine at home to Papua New Guinea, who are in huge trouble in this game. And don't forget, later this morning, New Zealand take on Fiji in the other quarter-final, live and exclusive right here on Fox League from 6 a.m. with Vonnie and the team. Let's get back out to Wigan to the commentators.
They're the favourites for me now with the way they performed and where they're performing.
Well, they've had quite a lot of practice at this sort of scenario where they're well in front and they've got to keep the concentration, and that's what they've got to do. They've just got to be professional and keep doing exactly the same. Like Nobby said, just put the foot on the throat and do exactly the same as what they've done in the first half.
You look at England's previous, most recent World Cup campaigns, 2017, 2013. They've often struggled, haven't they? I mean, Kev, you've been part of a team that has struggled to put teams away. I was thinking about Lebanon in the last World Cup, and even against France.
Well, we struggled against Australia in the final to create opportunities, and I think that's what's really exciting me about this England side. That's the best half of football I've ever seen from an England side, and I think the variation in attack coupled with brutality in defence, for me, just means they've got a few more options in attack.
Yeah. But the point I'm making is, you know, people will say, hang on, this is not Australia, this is New Zealand. But against teams at this level, England have struggled to really get absolute domination.
These are a very good team today, Papua New Guinea, so you can only beat what's in front of you. Papua New Guinea, for me, were better than Tonga when Tonga narrowly won that game. So I don't buy into that. They're playing an international side, one of the best sides in the competition, and just terrorising them.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. The element of nervousness before this game has clearly disappeared now. But the nervousness came about of what Papua New Guinea were going to throw at England and how they were going to challenge them and how they were going to threaten certain parts of the area. But do you know what? This England team have rocked up and thought, well, it's about us. We'll show you what we've got.
Well, a little bit of an offload here, and they continue going as well. Ipape, 12 metres short of the halfway line. Lachlan Lamb moves up to dummy half instead. Papua New Guinea trying to motor their way through.
All the way.
Last play, so it's back with Labert. So put that boot through the ball. It's a beautiful spinning kick, which caused one or two problems for Sam Tomkins in terms of tracking the drift, but he caught it safely in the end. So I think we can go down to the sidelines and find out what's been said at half-time by the two coaches. Damien.
Well, Dave, typically Sean Wayne not fully happy. He said it was a good 35 minutes. We were relentless like we asked. We need to get back to how we were in the first 35. We saw PNG come back a little bit towards the end of that half. Stanley Tepend, well, what more could he say? He said, forget the first half. We need to play for pride and the respect, really, for the jersey.
Tomkins with a kick to the corner to finish that set. And here's Alex Johnston. He's tackled well. You get the impression with Sean Wayne, and I know this for fact, after a grand final win with Wigan on the coach home, he was plotting how they did it, how they were going to do it again the next year. You get the impression with Sean Wayne, if they beat Australia in the final of the World Cup, he'll be on the coach going, well, what happens in France in 3 years' time?
Yeah, I don't think so. If you beat Australia in the final, don't worry, we're all taking a week off.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Labour for Papua New Guinea, starting from deep inside their own half again here.
I think he'll be happy that Papua New Guinea are putting a bit of play together now and challenging defensively this England side, because you don't want it all your own way going into the tougher games.
Lamb's going to kick on the last. His dad was a superstar at this stadium. Tomkins has gone backwards. Little hand of apology to his teammates for the fumble, and then maybe wishes he hadn't run into Sylvester Nano.
Chin rattler. Well, we already said at the start of this second half that whatever Stanley has said to his players, there's been a difference. They've got 2 exit kicks away. They've managed to get some kick chasing in amongst that and get out of their own half. So you're right, Kev. England want a little bit more of a challenge than they got in the first half, or what they've perhaps got to come next week.
Well, they're flying in this set. They're backing their attack up with some good defence.
Penalty. Hand in after the tackle was complete. Jodie Cunningham and Emily Rudge, 2 of the England players, sitting with Her Royal Highness there, just explaining 1 or 2 of the subtleties of rugby league, no doubt, and explaining how well they're doing as well. The England women's team with a 54-4 win against Canada earlier today. That certainly sets a standard. Big game against Papua New Guinea for England's women this next week. Their last group game, but they're definitely in the semi-finals, as are England's men. And the evidence of what we're watching here at the moment. McAlora. Williams wants the ball and wants a dash. Papua New Guinea's pincer defence closes quickly. Player left on the ground. Wellesby. And here is an effort from Knowles, who's going to be put down. Simbakin, who's back in the line, he's okay. Papua New Guinea in second row, but England coming with more now. Wellesby steps away, and the kick. Tomkins is after it, and it's stabbed out of play by Nutlick, and a drop out from underneath the sticks for PNG.
And it's great to see that all 3 pivots, Tomkins, Wellesby and Williams, just playing eyes up and playing so confident. It was Williams who took the carry and left Simpkin down on the floor, and then Tomkins just pointed for Wellesby to kick the ball, and he just responded with a fantastic executed kick.
Yeah, I think it's long game football that we're seeing. We need to be seeing that from England, because when they do get the challenges, Kangaroos, the Kiwis, happens to be Tonga or Samoa next week, they're going to have to play some long game football and make sure that they can find kicks of that quality.
He probably needs to go off for a head test. He's caught the hip of George Williams, and that's what George gives you. He's such a dynamic, powerful halfback when he's running the ball. Doesn't know where he is. I don't think he needs to go off.
Well, he's trying to convince the physio that he's okay to stay on.
He's not good there. He's took that out the side of the head. He looks out cold.
Jeremiah Simbakin. Only his second Papua New Guinean appearance here today. Made his debut against Wales last Sunday. And here comes Matty Lees, leading the first charge. That's a good response from the PNG defence. So McAlora squaring things up for Morgan Knowles, and just trying to burst again. The ball has come free. Mike Cooper has lost it.
I mean, it's hard to replicate the outstanding skill of the team in the white jumpers. They started that first half and a couple of loose carries, a couple of errors, and it's kind of flattened off not the atmosphere, but the expectation now on England is every time they get the ball, they're expected to either make a break or find a kick play or find a score.
Yeah, and I think scoreboard-wise, they don't need to replicate the first half and score 38 points. They just need to stop turning the ball over, stay patient behind the kicking game, because that's what brought them points in the first half. They weren't chasing points, it was just a process that they were following. It looks like they've gone a little bit away from that there, and Shaun Wane looks a little bit upset with how they've started this second half and finished the first half.
It's another head injury assessment here, so that's a couple now, isn't it?
I think that's the one that Simpikin, who went down before, he's finally succumbed to the injury.
Yeah, same man.
So the problem with replicating what you did in the first half is the other mob get to say something about it. So they've clearly aimed up a little bit better, the Cummels, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. And as Kev quite rightly says, this is not a bad thing for England.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of pride.
Justin Olam has just carted the ball straight at Callum Watkins. Watkins has just bent his back and folded him in half, and a bit back of their own medicine, so to speak.
We're talking about young players who've come into this squad. Some of the older players who've been rejuvenated in this World Cup, and Callum Watkins is one of those, isn't he?
Callum Watkins, Chris Hill. You could probably even put George Williams in there as well.
Yeah.
I think form-wise, you know, he's a superstar who's not been at that level, but he looks full of confidence again now. Chris Hill, he just rolled back the years. He looks one of the best front rowers in the world again.
Lamb drops it back on the inside. Ehrlich trying to take it on, a stride or two, but wrapped around. Nixon Pot rather wrapped around by English defenders. Last play here for Papua New Guinea. Lamb will put the kick in the air. It's very high. Sam Tompkins has an eye on it all the way, catches it safely. And here's Tommy Makinson to lead the charge out of those 20 metres. Tompkins, England's line now back behind the play the ball. They will be now. Two gone. Sam Tompkins just ushering players back. Another set of six. Hand on the ball. You might have heard the hooter. Here comes Tompkins. Rather, Makinson.
It's a real strength, the backfield from England. Farnworth, Young, Watkins and Makinson. So many bodies getting forward, and then the forwards take over.
Terrific footwork again there from Watkins.
Well, it was a feature against Samoa right at the opening of this tournament. The back three, or the back five if you want to include Watkins and Farnworth, destroyed Samoa and then enabled the big fellas to get going. Today it's been less so because the big blocks have been so effective early in the piece.
Well, they're winding themselves up again here, England. Posing a threat. Williams with a short pass. Whitehead offloads. Williams dashes into the gap. The kick's going to be too strong. Papua New Guinea get back with a tap back on the 20.
Nice play again. First time we saw Elliot Whitehead hitting that line with George Williams. I really think that left edge is threatening. Got Sam Tompkins out the back and Herbie Farnworth. A little bit of second phase play, and George Williams just puts a bit too much on his kick that time. But we just look dangerous all over the park, don't we?
So PNG looking to build the Cummels. Mentioned this the other week when they were playing against Wales, but such a passion for rugby league in Papua New Guinea. There'll be thousands and thousands and thousands who'll be sitting in front of television sets. A community spirit, a shared experience, who'll be so disappointed with what they're watching here as their side look to get themselves not back in the contest, but at least on the score sheet here. Johnston, Lachlan Lamb, little dancing steps. 5 gone, 1 to go. Out goes Ipape, he's going to have a run, a chip and a chase. And it's watched by Makinson, who in the end has to just do the safety first. And that's the best end to a set that PNG have had so far.
Yeah, and that's a bit more like what we expected. Ipape running from 9, causing problems. Lachlan Lamb taking the defence on. He puts a good kick through. His teammates need to back him up there a little bit and chase the kick. But that's just probably the will and the resolve has been taken out of this Papua New Guinea side. It's in sporadic now. It's ones and twos rather than team effort.
So the drop from Tompkins clears the halfway line. It's taken by Johnson, and Papua New Guinea looking to offer a threat right from the start here. Mackenzie Yeh. Debut for him this year against Fiji back in the summer, so it's a relatively new collective at international level. Sprinkling of experience though.
Great line speed from England.
Just doesn't stop, Morgan Knowles. Just does not stop.
Here's Alick.
Come on, Morgan, back, Sam.
Papua New Guinea trying to roll England back again here. Here's Albert, offloads, untidy, but backwards from Lamb, untidy, but forwards from Leibert. So England's head and feet.
Yeah, I think they brought Mike McMeekin on at front row. I think his form at the start of the year for Catalans at the middle of the field was really good. So it's smart play by Sean Wayne. You know, getting another big man in the middle of the field.
Well, I think the nature of the challenge this, Dave, they started with 4 big men on the bench. I mean, we discussed it beforehand, and Mike McMeekin has that brilliant ability. He's a world-class back rower in his own right and had super form with Catalan, but as you say, when they stuck him up front, he was really impactful there as well. That little bit of a utility or flexibility for Sean Wayne is useful.
That form was probably the form that got him in, the middle of the field form, the prop forward form. You know, before that, he didn't get selected in the squad. Played really well in front of Sean Wayne and got selected, and here he is carrying the ball now.
Big heavy carry. They're not short of front rows, are they, England? You know, a lot of people were disheartened when Alex Walmsley got the injury that ruled him out of this World Cup, and he would undoubtedly have been one of the first picks had he been fit, but they're not missing him at the moment.
Well, there's a couple sat down there as superstars, Mikolaj Oledzki and the big fella Luke Thompson. Both can't get in this team, so it shows you the quality that they have in the starting side.
Watkins at dummy half. England 40 metres out, looking to restore the rhythm of that first half when they were scoring for fun. Farnworth with the step. Tompkins eager to carry things on. They're in support. He's looking as well. Can't get it away. Not when you suddenly lift him in the air and slam to the ground. And the air's knocked out of your lungs, but he springs up, and Williams puts the kick up there. The chase is on again. Makinson, he's chased hard a few times here as Tommy Makinson. This time the ball eludes him, he almost disappears into that south stand.
So we're nitpicking now, and we're clinical, and we're thinking the last few kicks for England haven't been of the quality that probably Sean Wayne wants. So that's the kind of emphasis that Sean will be looking at. If you're playing a good team, they have to be on the nail.
It's a real flash and flare to the first half from England. It'd be wonderful if they could reintroduce it here. And they'll get a chance with possession. It's clumsy. Says it all.
Really not like Edwin Ipapa. His sensational form all year for the Lee Leopards. Just drops the ball there, Cole.
Well, the fans here are trying to create a rhythm, trying to stir the England players onto the field, back to the heights that they reached in that first half. Williams to Farnworth, but it's a sterner resistance from Papua New Guinea here. Williams looking on the inside again. McMeekin thundering it forward, the tall man. 4 tackles to go. England just over 20 away. McAlorum inside again. Knowles helps it on. Welsby to Bateman. Bateman searching for a gap. Can't find one, so passes. It got a hand from Leibert. Just as well, because England players were queuing up on that left-hand side.
Well, it needed a hand because they were stripped for numbers. Welsby, Bateman coming back against the grain, finding a pass, and he had to get his hands on that Leibert. Or Elliot Whitehead, was Mike McMeekin, is it? It was down the sideline.
But that was better from England. It looked a bit more like the England in the first half, moving the ball and bringing John Bateman against the grain. I really think that's a tactic that's working well for England. Whenever he changes angle, he looks a real threat with the ball.
So first drive by Cooper to set the platform here. 5 to go, 10 metres away. McIlaurin goes left. Williams now pops one over the top in an invitation for Tommy Makinson. Great recovery from that Papua New Guinean defence. A little bit of soccer skills on the floor, but PNG get it back somehow.
What a ball from George Williams, but how did Tommy Makinson keep that in the field? That was great play all around, a great defence by the Cummels.
It was great defence by Cummels, being equalled now by great defence from England. This is the line speed you were talking about, Kev. This is the vigour and the enthusiasm and the energy that England have been showing.
Well, they're going wide here, trying to find a way through, but Wellesby's across there. And it's a penalty for England.
Yeah, he's pushed Wellesby over. It's just a bit of frustration there. It's a good call by Liam Moore. Just pushes him over, stands up. Can't do that, picks his leg up.
Look at that pass, and here we go with the offload. Oh, I think he might have been out. I think he might have been out. That's how he kept it in play. He was out of play.
He was out of play, and they let him off.
It's a touchy Jack Smith. Missed that one there.
McIlaurin. Williams. Cooper in, looking to get the arms free. 3 Papua New Guinean bodies around him, making it difficult. Back it's with Knowles. Wellesby, and inside comes Watkins. Dom Young was desperately hoping the ball was coming his way there, but it didn't, so England search back towards the middle again. Knowles, beautiful pass, beautiful pass. McMeekan just tears the defender off him, onto Farmer, and here is Tommy Makinson for try number 4. He's the unstoppable try-scoring machine this week. And England are back with their inevitable try-scoring rhythm.
Well, we mentioned Mike McMeekan playing in the middle of the field. He moved him to the left edge now, and it looked like he should have passed the ball straight away, but he just dummies and then he sums it up really well and just puts the hands on, and Tommy Makinson goes in again. I think Dom Young will be screaming, pass the ball over this side like last week, because at the minute the left edge for England is just devastating.
Well, here's the penalty from Nixon Putt that gives England the field position. They come down this left-hand side, and it's a mismatch. Mike McMeekan just throws his labour, I think, is away, or Russell, and just finds Tommy Makinson out there with, as you say, a quality play. There you go. Just gets rid of Russell, and that's super upper body strength, and Makinson has the easy job in many respects.
22 minutes left. How many points can Makinson get?
Well, I was going to bring this up. He's got 26 points now. We were talking about individual records last week, and your mate Wayne Godwin, who holds the record with 34.
Take it off him.
For England against Russia back in 2004. Well, Tommy Makinson's scoring tries and kicking goals, so he might get close. 26 so far, 28 if he puts this over. He'd be a try and a goal away from equaling that
well,
record.
and I think Martin Afaya's surfed this week, isn't he?
Yeah, 10 tries he once scored in a game. But there's also that England record of 5. Nobody's scored 5 in a game for England. So Tommy Makinson's now got 4.
He was optimistic last week, Dave. Do you think he'll get 5?
No idea.
Well, I think
there's the kick. There's the kick. Oh no, that's
I think they read your notes at half-time, and you were so cock-a-hoop and enthusiastic about explaining about a new record. I think England purposely played away from Dom Young, I mean, just to stop you waxing lyrical about who breaks a record.
42 points to 0. The kick is missed.
I just think it's another positive, though, that the threat that we've got on the right. We are joking. There's a lot of threat on this right-hand side with Wellesby, Young and Bateman and Watkins, but then the left-hand side, we saw today how threatening that can be as well. So, you know, you clearly see we've got strength through the middle, so we look well balanced at this moment in time.
Here's Hill.
I think this bloke and Tom Burgess make a huge difference as well. I think Chris Hill's form in this World Cup has been super, followed by Burgess as well.
There's no lack of hard shoulders at the moment from Papua New Guinea, is there? They are getting stuck in a little in this second half. England remain relentless as Hill, for the second time in this set, carries again towards the halfway line.
And that's just the difference when Chris Hill carries the ball. He just doesn't run direct at someone. It's a bit like what John Bateman's done there. The footwork just puts them off and gets them outside of defenders.
McIlroy races up to dummy half, last play. Tompkins kicking towards that left-hand side again. Johnston underneath it. Safely patched on a wet day in Wigan. And the shoulder from Knowles there.
It didn't look like he wrapped his arm there, Dave.
Well, the referee wasn't interested, was he? So Knowles will be relieved. Lachlan Lamb across the line, spinning it out. Now have they got a bit of width and a bit of pace? Well, Dom Young's there. Very close to taking him out. Did he touch the line? No, he didn't.
Got the ball, didn't he?
Play the ball, Roderick Ty. Papua New Guinea are just running into pockets of resistance wherever they look. England keeping up this intensity, which is forcing mistakes and giving them another opportunity to launch an attack straight away. Tommy Makinson back on the inside. Tompkins dragged down. Good recovery from Papua New Guinea given what was coming at them. But 6 more tackles for England to use here.
Victor Radley coming on to play 9, I think now. Mickey McLaurin leaving the field. That's a different style of play than Mickey, but very smart, very tough defensively.
Yeah, Radley's here in the acting half position. Morgan Knowles throws it left. Williams pops it over the top. Makinson with a little chip.
That would have been some finish. The chip kick to myself for a finish in the
for the record.
Just for the record. Dave.
I think they're trying to get him over for that 5th, aren't they? It was just an act of over desperation with that pass from Tompkins.
It's really difficult to be critical of England today at 42 points to 0, but the way they've played the second half, the discipline with the ball. We just saw how flawless they were in the first half. They've just let a few, I think execution-wise, it's just been a little bit sloppy.
And do you know what? It's hard out there. It's hard out there when you're a player. It's hard. Right, well, just want you to replicate what you did in the first half, but half plays come on, half opportunities, and so you chance your arm. So.
And there must be even a subconscious relaxation. You go into a test match, fired up and ready for the challenge. And when you have the lead you have at half-time, there must surely be a relaxation of attitude.
Love to see the replay on that one, Dave. I think it was Matty Lees who just caught it flush in the face, putting a bit of kick pressure on.
Oh, good header.
A Falcon.
Good header. So England back inside Papua New Guinean territory again. Still 17 minutes to go. They'd love to keep it at 0. They'd love to add a few more. Watkins with the initial thrust. Radley. Williams back on the inside to Hill. Hill's trying to hold them off, but they keep coming at him. 3 in the end. Radley. Tompkins across to Bateman. Bateman looking to step on the inside, decides to put the left foot step on instead. And this is the last play. Tompkins kicks to the corner. Not too much of a chase on here. Oh, there's a confusion! And it's almost gifted Dom Young a try. But one or the other should have had that, not both. And it means that England will get the ball back again here.
A failure in the talking to Jimmy Nucklick and Alex Johnson. Johnson's catch every day of the week. Nucklick, he needed to tell Jimmy Nucklick that it's my catch every day of the week.
Yeah, and it was another good kick. It's a pressure putting kick right in the corner. You'd expect something. They put the scrum right over on the right hand side, so you'd expect some sort of shape now. All the team, I think they're even sending Dom Young to the left.
So here comes the feed, and England looking to spread it again. Can Makinson get on the end of it for a history-making 5th? Williams. Victor Radley marching back in here. Morgan Knowles. The big surge and the urge, and he's still driving, and 3 of them hanging on and desperately pushing him back. And now they want to get free to play the ball as quickly as possible. They don't allow him to do that, so England get another set of 6 tackles. And this now is McMeekan. 5 away and 5 tackles to go. Williams. Hill trying to pick a path. Can't do that when his legs are being held onto. Radley. Wellesby. pushes them off, tries to get the kick on, lost the ball. He was being tackled as he did that. And it's a handling error, and Papua New Guinea have it again.
Yeah, it was great defence by Lachlan Lamb. Just as he was thinking about putting the kick in, Cable ties his legs together and makes him look silly. Good defence, but another error from England. I think just starting to get a little bit frustrated. You can see facial expressions there on Jack Wellsby. It's just not going to plan at the minute.
It's scruffy. It's become scruffy for England, hasn't it?
Let's back down, boys. What's it, Sam?
All the magic of the first half.
Heads in.
Just a little more mundane in the second.
One.
But they are the scorers of the only try so far in this second half, and Papua New Guinea are still very much under the cosh.
2. Move, Morgan. Hold now.
And the consistent thing is the defence. I think the way that they've been flying off the line, as we see again, you know, we can be ultra critical with the ball, but when they've not had the ball, they've just been fantastic all night.
Deep down, Coach Wayne won't admit this. He'll say, oh, we were scruffy in the second half, etc., etc. But they'll be quietly pleased that they've had to bend their shoulders a little bit and reinforce some of those defensive messages.
England's defence coming across in numbers again, and once more there's just simply no way through. Jimmy Nutlick picking up from the heels of Olam, and Lamb had to hurry that kick because he was being closed down very quickly. The bounce is kind enough for England. Tommy Makinson immediately beginning searching round the edges, but good hunting tackle coming his way from Dan Russell. Farnworth. Farnworth's going to have a dabble. There's a little look at what's ahead of him, and has that run. Tompkins is taking over the dummy half duties. He's just ushered Victor Radley away, but before he can play it, Herbie Farnworth's knocked it on. Happy New Guinean fans.
They're going for a captain's challenge, would they?
Yeah. Well, the referee's original version here was a knock-on, so let's hear from the video referee, Adam G.
Video ref to match director. We have a captain's challenge from England on the ruling of a knock-on. I just need all available angles nice and slow on the ball, please. Okay, I'm going to need something from the touchline view if you've got an angle, please. Just looking to see if there's any ruck interference or the ball's just lost. Keep playing, keep playing. Still lose sight of some of that ball. Have you got one from the far side, please? A camera angle from the far side? This might be the best. So he's locked onto the hand, the defender. But then Herbie just surges forward and loses possession of the ball. There's no intent to strip there or ruck interference. The challenge is unsuccessful. Thank you, Director.
So as you were, referee Liam Moore got it spot on right at the start. Technology proving that. Sean Wayne's not happy with that, but Papua New Guinea with a feed at the scrum on the halfway line.
And I don't think it'll be the decision that he's not happy with. I think it'll be the fact that it's another error and they just can't continue this momentum, because if the game just fizzles out now for the next 13 minutes the way it's going, there'll be a feeling of, yeah, we've got the job done, but it won't be as good as that was an amazing performance, and that's where they need to get to.
Get themselves back up again.
You're bang on, Kev. You're bang on there. It's not about getting themselves back up again, but they don't want to be finishing the game in this kind of damp style, if that's the right expression.
Yeah, the crowd just need a little bit more as well. I think, you know, a full house in here today. You know, they had a fantastic party in the first half, and they want more of that.
Is that you speaking as a party animal, Kev? Anything but.
30 metres away, Papua New Guinea in an encouraging position at the moment. More encouraging than they've had for most of the day. Up gets Sylvester Namo. And here they come again with a heavy artillery down the middle, but England's defence is reacting well enough. Wellington Albert put on his back. Watson Boas, by the way, is in that acting half position. Here's Olam with a kick which takes a deflection, I think played up by England. So this should be Papua New Guinea's head and feed, or at least their possession. They attack restart.
So like a ricochet.
No, he's not given it as played up by England. England have the ball.
Can the captain challenge that? The New Guinea? Did he play the ball or just kick it out?
Let's back up, lads, please.
No, it has gone Papua New Guinea's way.
I was looking for a captain's challenge. I was right, Kev.
It has gone Papua New Guinea's way, and out of dummy half, Watson Boas puts it to that right-hand side, and Papua New Guinea desperate for points here that would be cheered in Port Moresby and Lae, Mount Hagen. They want to see their side get something here against England, and they might have it!
Oh!
Jimmy Nutlick diving in, and he has touched it down. Papua New Guinea finally have something to cheer. They're proud of the moment, they love the moment. They got 4 points here against England.
And it's very similar to Tommy Makison's try when Sam Tompkins kicked it in the first half. I initially thought, oh no, play two, that might be a bit too soon, but Jimmy Nutlick, he just flies onto the ball. You know, we see great shape. It's Alex Johnson who comes out wide, he sums it up perfect. Dom Young's just a little bit too far up. That's a fantastic finish. And he does well to get his head out of the way. The kazoo boardings just before he hits it, Nobby.
Good wheels as well from Jimmy Nutlick, because he had to get there, because he was skiddling away, and like you say, brilliant kick from Johnson, and Nutlick finishes the job, and Papua New Guinea will be certainly satisfied with what they've dished up in this second half, won't they?
And it's probably another good sort of lesson for this England side. If you do spill so much ball, you know, we look fantastic in the first half.
Great kick from Rhys Martin. We know how good a goal kicker he is, and that's a terrific hit. 42 points to 6 now. Jimmy Nutlick, the try scorer. 3 tries in 3 games at this World Cup.
That's some kick from Rhys Martin.
There's the kick.
Wow. .42.6 doesn't change direction of travel this next week. England heading south for Arsenal. Papua New Guinea heading home. But it does give them something at least to feel a little cheered by on what has been otherwise a damp and miserable afternoon for Papua New Guinea, and they're being forced backwards again here. Out of dummy half, it's taken by Boas. Just over 23,000 here today, and I'm being told that is a record for a Rugby League World Cup quarter-final. So that's a decent turnout.
4. Move on!
England keeping the yardage to minimum here.
In the main, England have defended really, really well. They've joined things up. They've had kick pressure like we see now from Chris Hill on all the kickers. All those joined up bit, they've joined in from marker and worked together.
Here's Makinson just looking to cook something up in typical Tommy style, loves to take them on. Tompkins, now Farnworth. We've seen the quality of his footwork, the strength of his carry.
We've seen the quality of Sam Tompkins as well, just how composed at the back. You know, I think he's been a perfect foil for Williams and Wellesby. It's that senior head. It's been a great link-up.
Burgess back on. England nudging inside the PNG 20. Bateman now hits hard and carries England to within about 5 metres. Couple of tackles still left in the back here as well. Wellesby, Williams, poor pass, has to take it on the ground, picks up, just has a look what's there in front of him instead. To set the platform maybe for this 6th tackle play. Tompkins, oh, it's a brilliant intercept. Brilliant intercept by Russell on that far side. It is out of play. Great recovery from England's defence.
That's what you want from your captain. You know, he puts the kick in and it's just millimetres off being perfect, and Russell just plucks it out with one arm. But then he gets back there. Maybe Farnworth looked like he was going to score, but he gets back there. Shows his effort for his team. Gets the ball back.
Yeah, brilliant from Sam Tompkins. just not quite the perfection on your kick, as you point out there, Kieran. But he makes amends for that error and says, you're not looking down the length of the field, embarrassing me, and pushes him out and gives England field position again.
What can they cook up here? 6 minutes to play, and England back in position. McMeekan with a drive. Radley on the inside. Morgan Knowles now, short to Burgess, and Burgess pushing and pushing. Still pushing, still pushing. Eventually down. Radley waits, has to be patient. Burgess to his feet, and it's a short one this time to Matty Lees. But again, stout resistance from that Papua New Guinean defence. Radley over the top to Tompkins. They're drifting left. Williams puts it away for Tommy Makinson for a history-making 5th try. No one in an England shirt has ever scored 5 in one game. Well, Tommy Makinson has just written his name into the record books today. Count them. 5 tries. What a performance from Tommy Makinson.
What were you saying about wingers don't count the tries and know what they are? You see the big 5 go up straight away there from Tommy Makinson. He knows exactly what he's achieved. What a brilliant record. And I think it's Sam Tompkins that gives him the cut-out pass at the end of the death there. I think it was George Williams, sorry, slightly mistaken, but it's George Williams with the money ball, if you like, that gives him it. Here you go, brilliant pass from Radley. Sam Tompkins to George Williams. Understands it a little bit short, and does Roderick Ty. Cuts him up like a keeper in the finish there, does Tommy Makinson. But 5 tries, Dave. He's over the line.
And it's a real smart play from Tompkins again. George Williams and Jack Welsby have, each time they're getting a little bit wider. Radley did it in the first half, and Tompkins fills in there just to get him on, you know, the outside shoulder, that last couple of defenders, which opens up the long ball. He's thrown it a couple of times. On that time, it was perfection. Tommy Makinson. How many points is that now, Dave?
Thanks for that. 30. 30 points. 5 tries is 20. 5 goals is 10, so 30 points. Felt like I was back at school then for a moment.
Well, for all the listeners at home, he's got his shoes and socks off and using his toes as well as his fingers.
Tight to the touchline, creeping ever closer to the individual point scoring record. If he can put this one over, it looks good. Oh, it's hit the post and bounces out. So he remains on 30 points, and England remain on 46 points to 6.
It's brilliant from Sam Tompkins. He releases George Williams, who goes at the line. And it's an in and out from Tommy Makinson, and a brilliant finish.
He makes the difficult look easy, doesn't he, Tommy Makinson? That was a tough finish there.
Well, it's the other wingers who've been grabbing the headlines, isn't it? Ryan Hall with his exploits in his overall international record, and Dom Young with all he's been doing at this World Cup. But Tommy Makinson, a Golden Boot winner 4 or 5 years ago, is grabbing his place in the limelight. And we're going to end with a bit of heat to the game as well. Everybody's getting involved here. So you two have got the Kazoo player of the match to think about as well. I think there's one name in the headlights, isn't there?
Yeah, I think Tom Burgess has been fantastic today, and he's been backed up by all his packed teammates. But Tommy Makinson, you know, scoring 5 tries, 30 points. You know, his overall game's been superb. So me and Nobby have chosen him as the Kazoo player of the match tonight.
You score 5 tries and don't get player of the match, you'd be wondering what was happening, wouldn't you?
Depends if Dom Young's on the other side and he scored 6.
This is the moment that sparked a bit of energy.
Yeah, Morgan just doesn't like it, does he? And he's putting his elbow into his face, and you know, Rhys Martin rightly gets a bit frustrated with that after 6 or 7 rubs of the chin.
St Helens against Leeds. They've had some rivalry down the years, haven't they, in Super League? The two individuals representing those two teams.
Right, boys, we've had a good game up to now, haven't we? What we've got there is third tackle by Riggs, okay? Third tackle, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely right. Then Knowles grabs him with his legs. We've got the reaction from Morgan, which creates players running in. Now, like I've given against PNG down there, the penalty's going against Morgan Knowles for what he causes the action. Yes, mate. Okay, so the penalty's to PNG.
So penalty goes Papua New Guinea's way. Explanation there from Liam Moore. Not going to be over concerned, is he? 2 minutes to play.
Oh, he'll want to keep him out here for sure, won't he, Nobby? He'll not want to finish this last couple of minutes with Papua New Guinea getting another score.
Think about it now, boys. Discipline.
Don't want to spoil his day. There's confirmation, the Kazoo player of the match, Tommy Makinson, but he's got a bit of defensive work to do here, as have his teammates, because with just over 90 seconds to play, Papua New Guinea are looking to finish with a bit of brightness on what has been a grey day. And this is Labour, who's almost found a way through. Tricky player, but England's defence responding. Big effort from Mackenzie Yeh.
Release him now, free. Hold.
Here's Watson Boas. Another set of 6. 1 minute to play. Another set of 6. So Papua New Guinea will get a full set, you'd think. They've got time to go through this full set to try and get themselves into double figures. If they can get out, Watson, pick the ball up. There he goes. He picks it up. In by Mackenzie Yeh again. And he's dropped the ball. Drop the ball. England will have it back. They're in no rush to pick it up and carry on. That will be job done. It's a scrum down. Nobody's in a rush to get there. Referee stops the clock.
Victor the inflictor still going. The 79th minute.
You'd have to put that down as a forced error, wouldn't you? With the attentions of Victor.
I think we got. Have we got a captain's challenge? We've got a captain's challenge
on
here.
the decision of a knock-on. Please see all available angles of the ball
I think this
goes into the tackle.
Very, very optimistic.
What actually is the challenge?
I think he's saying he's knocked the ball out, but for me it was just a committed tackle from Radley coming round.
Okay, so we have possession here. Okay, so he looks to offload. Victor Radley is just making a tackle, and the Papua New Guinea player loses possession into the English player. The challenge is unsuccessful.
So again, the referee on the field gets it right. And England will finish with a scrum head and feet here with 20 seconds to go.
I wonder if the referee runs to the scrum and goes, told you.
Too professional for that.
Here we go, boys. Locking night. Lock in.
Sam Tompkins to feed the ball in. The last embers as what has been a glowing performance here. There might be a 6 for Tommy Makinson as he puts the skates on, but the kick not quite a 20-40, I don't think.
I think if the kick were on there, I think he had the legs on his opposite.
Ball's out of play. They'll just count the clock down now. What a performance from Tommy Makinson. History making. 5 tries for him. Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, I'm sure, has been impressed by that England performance today. Following up England's women's 54-4 win against Canada, England's men have dispatched of Papua New Guinea 46 points to 6, and they're off to Arsenal next week for a semi-final against either Samoa or Tonga.
Job done. Brilliant performance for England in the overall, and things that Coach Wayne can hit them up with through this week to get better.
I think it's time to get excited as fans and as people involved in this game. I agree with what you said before, Nobby. Sometimes we're a bit too eager to bash our nation and our side. We were fantastic today.
Well, we're going to get some live reaction from down there in just a second. But it has to be said that next week is, we keep saying it every week, next week is going to be the toughest challenge for England, whoever they come up against, whether it be Tonga or Samoa.
And I used the words of Coach Wayne a couple of weeks ago. It's a tough challenge for either Samoa or Tonga, whoever comes through that next week. Going to have to be at the very, very best to touch this England team, because I think they're in that kind of place now, England, where they believe they not only can go all the way, but they believe that the talents within the group, the all-round talents within the group, put them in pole position.
In 2013, they came within seconds of a final. 2017, they were in the final. Is this going to be England's year? 46 points to 6. They have won here today. And let's go down to Damien Johnson, who's speaking with the player of the match, Tommy Makinson.
Tommy, many congratulations. The first Englishman to score 5 tries in an international. That's some achievement.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's a special achievement, but tell you what, going to London in the semi-final is going to be even bigger, so yeah, just can't wait.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but I mean, you've never had a bigger ovation at Wigan as a St Helens man, have you?
Yeah, I know, I've never had an atmosphere like that before. Obviously, being a Wigan lad, get a hostile reception here, to say the least, but as soon as you pull them England colours on, it's special, and yeah, what a great crowd today.
That elevates you above some pretty elite company, the likes of Clive Sullivan, Martin Offiah never achieved it.
Yeah, might elevate me on a list, but yeah, never ever above them as players. You know, they're the foundations. Clive Sullivan, that's what we want to do. We want to be like Clive and the men who went on to achieve something special. So 5 tries, yeah, it's good, but at the end of the day, I want to be a World Cup winner, and we're building towards that.
The 5th one took some scoring.
Yeah, that's my job at the end of the day. Probably missed a couple over there, to be fair. George Williams is on the left edge, he's so dangerous, and love playing outside him, and Herbie, and obviously Elliot as well. So yeah, something I really enjoy doing, but there'll be bigger games, and hopefully I can do it then.
Well done, Tommy, thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers.
Sean, congratulations, the England coach. That was pretty impressive from English.
Yeah, it was. I thought we did really well there, Damien. I thought our first half was faultless. Last 5 minutes before half-time, we could improve on. Second half a bit scrappy overall. To meet a good team like Papua New Guinea, get to the semi-finals of the World Cup, I'm really impressed.
I know you don't like to pick out individuals, but a player of the match performance from Tommy Makinson with 5 tries, a record. Some achievement.
Yeah, and do you know what? He's done it for years and years, and he's done a lot of work with Paul Anderson from Norway, one of my staff, and fair play to him. You know, all our backfield played really well today, but Tommy, he's done it for St Helens for years, done it for England, Great Britain, an outstanding talent.
Have you ever seen Tom Burgess perform better in an England shirt?
I was really impressed today, really impressed with him. I thought the way him and Chris Hill started out a game off today, I thought was really good. Victor Radley, 39 middle, was really good and give us a foothold into the game. So I've got good players on the bench. We're in a good place.
It's Tonga or Samoa in the semi-final. They play tomorrow. Do you go to the game? Do you watch it as a team? Do you put your feet up at home? How do you approach it?
Oh no, I think I'm going to the game, and I hope they rip into each other. I hope it's a really aggressive game, and we'll see him next week. But we know we've got a massive challenge. They're both great teams, Tonga, Samoa, and so Papua New Guinea. So, you know, we'll show them the respect they deserve. We'll try our best and give it the best shot.
We've seen how impressive Australia and New Zealand have been, but England look like real contenders now, don't they?
Yeah, we'll keep improving every time we train. We look at getting better. We'll do a review in the morning. There'll be places where we can get better in that game as well. And that's the way we do things, and hopefully every week we can improve.
Thanks, Sean. Well done.
Thank you, Matt. Cheers.
Stanley Tepend, the Papua New Guinea coach, is here looking pretty crestfallen, I have to say. And, I mean, did you take some pride from the second half performance at least?
Yeah, yes, we did. You know, we showed that we can match it with England in the second half there. And, you know, England are a good side. Credit to them. Wish them all the best for the semi-finals. Not the start we wanted, but look, we will take a lot out of this, and you know, hopefully do one step better in the next World Cup.
They started so quickly. Did that catch you out?
Yes, it did. You know, in big games like this, obviously you got to start well, and we didn't have the ball there for that first 20-25 minutes, so you know, we just defended, and you know, they charged up through the middle. Then in these big games, you know, they caught us and they jumped ahead really quickly there. But look, in the second half, we spoke about it at half-time, and the boys reacted to it, which is a pleasing sign.
There's been huge progress in rugby league in Papua New Guinea, hasn't there, in recent years? This is a fine international team you've got. How much damage will this do?
I wouldn't say it'll do damage. Look, we'll take a lot out of this. And, you know, we're pretty happy with the tournament. It's unfortunate we couldn't go further. And I know everyone back home, you know, they'll be disappointed with us, but I know that deep inside they'll be proud of the boys. We as coaching staff are proud of the boys, and yeah, we'll all just build from this.
Brought plenty to the World Cup. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done to Papua New Guinea at this tournament. They have certainly brightened it up, but they go home. England go through to the semi-finals, and there is the history-making man, Tommy Makinson. 5 tries this afternoon, an England international record for one game, and 30 points in total. He knocked over a number of goals this afternoon. All the talk's been about Dom Young, Josh Adokar in this World Cup. Well, you can add Tommy Makinson to the mix. On his day, he is one of the best wingers in the world. He will be a crucial man next week, and producing the goods at the home of Wigan. Of course, he is a St Helens man. I'm sure he'll appreciate the irony in that. Here are his 5 tries this afternoon. First one after 8 minutes, a beautiful kick from Sam Tompkins setting him up. The second one, great take in the air. And the third one, a little bit of fortune. You do make your own luck in this game sometimes. Number 4, an easy finish in the corner. England dominating on that left-hand side, and then a terrific finish. A real winger's finish there for number 5. And modest as ever, Makinson with 5 tries, England with the victory. Here are the statistics of that 46-6 win this afternoon. Double the number of complete sets by England compared to PNG. And the carries almost double again, over 200. Not that many meters gained by comparison. To some games for England, only 1,300 meters gained. A number of missed tackles from Papua New Guinea, especially in that first half, 43 in total. And England's possession was up over 60% in the first half. It definitely dropped a little bit in that second half as they took their foot off the pedal, but a comprehensive win. So here are the full whack of tries, including Makinson's 5. Tom Burgess was the first one on the score sheet. What an afternoon he had. Absolutely dominated the first 20 minutes, twisting and turning under the posts. Then it was Makinson's first, the grubber kick and the finish. Try number 3 came from Dom Young, his 9th of the tournament. He's a couple behind Josh Adokar in the try stakes, but he's got Makinson breathing down his neck as well now. Wingers want to be top of that try-scoring table. Young is in very much in contention for that. The Princess of Wales is here today. She enjoyed that one, and she'll have enjoyed this finish from Makinson too. Great ability in the air, and then the strength to twist and go over. For try number 4, after 17 minutes, England were 20-0 up. And then perhaps the best of the lot this afternoon. A great team effort. Bateman with the break. Williams to Watkins, Watkins to Williams, and over he went. Try number 6 from Callum Watkins. Young with the offload. And the centre diving over. He had the better of that afternoon battle with Just Nolan, the Melbourne Storm centre. That was the bizarre try when Alex Johnson dropped the ball and Makinson pounced on it after the captain's challenge. That was his hat-trick try, and that made it 38-0 at the break. England took a bit of time to get going in the second half. Makinson, though, had number 4 after 57 minutes. It was 42-0, and then Papua New Guinea finally got on the board. A great kick through and a terrific finish from Jimmy Nutlick, who's been one of their stars of this World Cup. Rhys Martin made the conversion, and then Makinson got over for number 5. 9 tries in total for England, 46-6 the final score here at Wigan. And England are the second team through to the semi-finals. Australia winning last night against Lebanon. They will face the winners, the world champion Kangaroos, of the game this evening in Hull. New Zealand against Fiji. That's a 7:30 kickoff. That takes place shortly after the Papua New Guinea-Brazil women's game, which is also on this evening. And then tomorrow, the final men's quarter-final. Tonga against Samoa from Warrington. The winner of that will play England next Saturday at the Emirates in London.